Hey, welcome to Breaking Bread, hosted by me, Crunk Chocolate, a show where we break verbal bread with a quote-unquote enemy. Whenever Manchester City has an upcoming match, I will be here having a conversation with the supporter of City's upcoming opponent. Shout out to everybody who is watching just the 10-minute little appetizer, the little taste of this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe if this is your first time here. Hello. Rate, review, leave a comment, like the video. If you're listening on podcast, I said rate and review. That's what you're supposed to do. Rate, review, give it a 5 stars rating. Say something nice in the comments. Oh, Battle of London. We are here for Man City versus London City Lioness. The fifth round of the Adobe's Women's FA Cup draw is happening right now. So this is very fun. London City Lioness, speaking of, they drew Tottenham. I feel like that's an interesting draw. We can quickly ask our guests their thoughts on this before we get into the real thing. But welcome back, London City Lioness. You know, this is the first year in the WSL. Last time we chatted, there was a lot of going on. It was the beginning of the season. The team was struggling. There was a lot of turnover and change. The vibes weren't exactly positive. Now it's a little bit after halfway through the season. Oh, City drew Sheffield United. Oh, let's go. Luck of the draw. Does have things picked up? Are the vibes better? They got just announced a new signing, Cascarino, for the free. King has the money for it. How do they keep doing it? Welcome back on, fantastic shirt. Look at that. Give it up for Nessy.
Like it?
I do. I really do.
Hey,
and
guys.
I love it. Yeah.
Hey, Crunk.
Hello.
Do you like it?
Yeah, how are you? How are things?
I'm good. That's the new purple shirt that London City have. With a nice little holographic little emblem there. I tried to get it with the lighting just nice so you'd be able to see it dazzle. I didn't want it to dazzle you too much, just in case. Your eyes. But London City. Well, we have been. They always say that there's, everything is like ups and downs in a season. Well, let me tell you, there have been ups and downs. Like the first few games this season have been really, really tough. You had the Arsenal game, you had Man United, you had Man City, where, put it this way, those games didn't help the goal difference. Do you know what I mean?
No, not at all.
At all. And they started to come good then. And they won a couple of games. They won their first game against Everton. They were doing okay. They were getting there. And then somewhere along the way, something just... The bite kind of fell out of London City. And I don't know why. And in December, they didn't... Well, there was only a couple of games in December, but they hadn't won their 2 games in December. They didn't... So they had... last weekend as well, they played Liverpool in a 0-0 draw. And they didn't score in that game, and they hadn't scored in their 2 previous games. And it was really strange and weird because it was Saki Kumagai that scored their last goals. And she scored 2 goals before Christmas. And it just seemed that there was something that wasn't quite right with London City, but it was hard to figure out what it was. It was just like that there was a bite that wasn't there. And there had been a bite. There had been a bit of a determination. And they did have a couple of lucky things, unlucky things. Aslani missed a penalty in the last minute to even up the game before Christmas. There was a penalty that was given against Liverpool in the Liverpool game in the league. And that was scored by Elena Linari. And that was a bit of a dubious penalty, even though a lot of London City fans hate me for saying that. That was well dubious, that penalty. So there was bits and pieces that were happening that were like, they were 6th in the table. Do you know what I mean? So that's pretty good. First season in the WSL, 6th in the table. And like things weren't going too bad. And then on the 21st of December, Jocelyn Prasure posted on Instagram saying how fantastic a year 2025 was and what he was hoping to achieve in 2026. And then on the 22nd of December, so the day after, whatever that post was, he was sacked and he was sixth in the league, which makes absolutely no sense. Whether it was because they were then safe, chances are they're safe in the league with where they're sitting right now, going on Liverpool and West Ham. Whether it was that, whether it was something that was planned all along from when he had started working with this project. I hate calling it a project. It's not a project. It's a club. You're building a club, not a project. A project has a beginning and an end. You're building a club. You're trying to build a heritage. You're trying to build a dynasty or something. A project has a finish point. But Jocelyn was sacked and out of nowhere. And a couple of things about that were very telling. That within the press release where he was sacked, it said that Martin Semmens, who is the CEO of the club, had come to the decision with some other people, and then they went to Michelle Kang, who gave her blessing, basically. And I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. So this all comes down to, as far as I can see, is what they call blind trust. And when you sign a blind trust, you're saying that you do not have day-to-day operational control of the football club. And this happened especially where with Crystal Palace, as we know, who got their issues with Leon last year. And John Texter, who also happens to be a friend of Michelle Kang's.
Nottingham Forest did the same thing as well. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it happens a bit. But as far as I can see, they did it this way as a precursor to, okay, we want to be in the Champions League. And by doing this way, we are showing you that Michelle Kang does not have operational control over the day-to-day running of the club. So when it comes to a time, because they're saying now they want Champions League next year or 2027, which is crazy.
Insane.
But if that is the case, well, then they can prove, well, Michelle doesn't have day-to-day operational control. We've been telling you that 18 months ago that she doesn't have it, so it's not an issue now. So since that, Ider Mastre has been appointed. He had the game last week against Liverpool and then a game against Sunderland in the FA Cup this weekend. And to be quite honest with you, I think I probably said it before on the pod that I grew up a Liverpool fan. So watching Liverpool and London City play each other, I kind of try and dissect everything, and I kind of enjoyed the players getting stuck into each other, they go in with the tackles and whatever. And a lot of people were going, oh, that was a really bad game. I really enjoyed that game last week against Liverpool because the players were getting stuck in on both sides. And however, London City weren't great at all. When you see how Liverpool were playing for the first half of the season, they've had their issues and it's been really, really horrible. But when you see how Liverpool were playing, they played really well last week to stifle London City. So London City couldn't get any possession. They couldn't get what they wanted to do up into the third of the pitch in front of goals. They couldn't get there. They just couldn't get there. So then when you watched how the team played this week against Sunderland, bless you.
Thank you.
When you see how the team played this week against Sunderland, they weren't that great. Sunderland were fantastic when it came to the defence. They stuck to their players. They did a really, really good job of having two players on every one of the London City players that had the ball. So there was always a second player running to, so there was always two Sunderland players and one London City player. And at the end of the day, it was a corner and a header from Wassa Sangare that put London City into the lead. That was really the only shot on target. You know, it wasn't really there was no chances. They were keeping them at bay, and I think that's why when you look at again when comparisons with Liverpool and how Liverpool did this week in the transfer window, yes, last summer London City brought 17 new players in, so it's going to be absolutely. I would hate to see what was going on in that dressing room. All these people trying to get to know each other as people and work wise as well. When you see what they've done and what Liverpool have done in this transfer window, and then you see that London City um, didn't have the firepower up front and they didn't have that little bit of a sting. And then during the week, they let Lotte Lindstrom go out on loan to Birmingham City. And in the first round of, or in this round, the fourth round of the FA Cup, when Lotte made her debut, she scored on her debut, the same as she did when she was with London City. So it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Is there something going to happen? What's the little bit of magic? Now, we have the magic today. Delphine Cascarino has signed. But I don't know what is going to happen because Eder Mastre, the new manager, doesn't seem really happy with the players. And
which is insane to see because you have like 30 players on the squad. Like I was just like scrolling through the roster and I was just like, oh my God, so many players. And I mean, one of the points you made the last time we had on was they were bringing in players, yes, and some are quality players, but what is the direction? What is the game's play? Like, what are you expecting to see from this team? And then you fire your manager who had you in six, and then you bring in a new, like, yeah, like, honestly, if you, like, stared at the previous manager, closed your eyes for, like, 10 seconds, opened up your eyes and saw the new manager, you'd just be like, are they different people? So, like,
yeah,
it would be very interesting to